All right, hey, let's see if we are up and running. Let's see, what do I need to check? I need to check my window here and see if I have sound coming through the machine. Looks like I'm up, and mic check, 1, 2, 3. Looks like I'm up, and mic check. Hey, that's really strong. 1, 2, 3. Who knew? The microphone is staying consistently strong at this point, so it looks like it's just been too far away from my face. So cheers to that. Sounds good. I'm thrilled. I'm pressing some social media buttons here, so if you're catching this in the future and you're already familiar with us, you can skip forward the minute of gear up time that we have. But if you're new to the channel, or if you're caught here in space time with me here and now, I'll tell you, hey, my name's Phil Kearney. What's up? I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online, and I've been focusing my attention on creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, publishing it on the DMsGuild. Since 2017, I'm a big Magic the Gathering enthusiast, so when the Ravnica, the Ravnica campaign setting came out, and there wasn't any color mana language in there, I'm like, blah, blah, blah. So that got me creating my first publications on the DMsGuild, and following up on that, a bunch of other books. And the last one, in March, the last book that I was part of was Subclasses Revivified, which is currently number 2 on the DMsGuild. So go check that out. It fills out all the missing subclasses for 2024. Prior to that, the last book I had made was the Spelljammer Combat Exploration document. That basically converts the combat and exploration system of Spelljammer into the 5-foot scaling mechanics that you expect. Oh, hey, here on YouTube, we're over 5. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate everyone helping out. That's awesome. I'm glad that this is interesting to people. So, God bless you, folks. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications. I am thrilled. I made a promise to put my brush set up on my Patreon for folks to grab for free. It'll be an ABX file. Let me get that built out maybe this weekend, and I'll post that for you guys. It was just something that I promised I would do if I got to 500 subscribers. So now I'm there. My next goal is to get over the 3,000 hour hump. So if you're checking this stuff out, just let it kind of run a little while. That would be great. But yeah, here's a slew of books that we've made. We're going to be probably making reference to the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration document that we have here on DMsGuild. It's a 100% free preview, all 107 pages. The first 80 some odd pages are converting Spelljammer ships to be treated as though they're just animals. Like when a druid wild shapes, they generally wild shape into something that's going to fit inside of a 5 or maybe 10-foot space, right? Well, in Spelljammer, the way that this works is that when you pilot the ship, you're effectively transferring your sentience into the ship. So you're kind of wild shaping into a ship that's going to be at the, well, here we have the 5-foot scale. Here, I'll show you a 5-foot scale here where people hang out on the back of your ship. Here's the 50-foot scale where we can see a fighter craft that's 50 feet in size. It fits inside of a 50-foot space. And these star moths are 200 feet long, so they fit in these 50-foot squares. This is a 4x4 space that the star moth fits inside of. So once you have those mechanics figured out, you can scale out further. These are 500-foot spaces over here. So each 500-foot space is the tokens showing just one star moth. But if you zoom in on one of them, you can see that 500-foot space can accommodate a number of ships that can operate in a singular squadron. So a lot of the book works through the mechanics of movement, combat, reach, time, distance, movement, scaling between different movements. But once you get all the mechanics of how to scale between the different sizes, 5 feet to 50 feet to 500 feet, and be able to move between all 3 of them. Once you know what the mechanics are, all 3 of them work exactly the same way. You don't have to think about it until like a character gets out of their ship and is now walking around in the 5-foot scale while ships are flying past at the 500-foot scale. So, but once you hash out what are the actual mechanics of how like a 5-foot character would interact with something that occupies a 500-foot space. Once you get all that stuff fleshed out, the system just runs itself, just like 5e normally does. It's exactly the same. So, hey, Steve. So yeah, this is the book that was the core of what we were making. The first 82 pages goes over all of those details of how combat, movement, exploration, spell casting, how all that stuff works together using these larger scales, so that your character can operate in these different scales. So now that we have that out, we're going to the Spelljammer Subclass document, and for those that want to read along. Here is the, that's it. Here's the subclasses that we're looking at. For you, it's a read-only document, but you are welcome to read along while I build this out. So we have all 13 classes. We already have the initial kick for all 13 classes. I'm pretty happy with how they sit in general. I'm adjusting this microphone. It was thumping up against my chest a little bit too much, so I'm going to adjust some bibs and knobs here real quick to get this set properly. Check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Let me see if that turned out okay. Mic check. 1, 2. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, enough shenanigans. I've got about an hour to play today. I'm out of coffee, so I'm stuck on water. That's okay. Let's get that out of the way. Let's get back in here. Okay, so we have the subclasses. We have the core of them for use of the Spelljammer Combat Exploration. The mechanics and the way that the classes are built uses the 2024 scaffolding and framework. And it leans into the character options and mechanical details of the Spelljammer Combat Exploration document. So you kind of need to know the mechanics that I've built for Spelljammer for these subclasses to really be useful. But when I publish it, I'm going to bundle it with the Spelljammer book that we were just looking at that it belongs to. It's like this would be like $5 and the Spelljammer book is $20, but I could then use a coupon and reduce the cost of the Spelljammer core book is only $16, and this one is like say $3 or $2.50 instead of $5. So you end up spending less money buying both of the books together than you would on buying just the Spelljammer book alone. So this becomes a coupon for you to purchase the original book, or if you've already purchased it, you'll get this one at a discount, and it's going to be useful because you already have the other book. So when I build books, I like to bundle them that way. I like to have a core idea, which I generally call a flagship. Here, I'll just to pontificate a little bit more, and just to ramble because I love to ramble. Where are my color mana mechanics? Okay, great. So the 5 color mana spell point variant rules. Here's our bundle. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books in this color mana bundle. It converts spell casting in D&D to the Magic the Gathering color mana paradigm. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 6 books in the set. This is the core mechanics. It's 75 pages. It basically just takes the Vancian magic system and just does everything that you need to convert the spellcasting mechanics of 5e into the color magic paradigm. And then we have an extension, the Knights and Tricksters, that it makes specific rules for Eldritch Knights and Arcane Tricksters as you can go a step further with these ideas here. And then we have the spell point Warlocks, which is you can take these ideas and you can take it a step further. And then we have the revised color mana systems. Like if you like the color magic idea, here's a way for you to make more use of the color mana system with your spell casting. It takes it a step further. The Elemental Key book takes it a step further and sidesteps saying, hey, you can do all of this with elemental magic, air, earth, fire, water, not just color magic, but you can also do it with the 4 elements too. So this book expands on the idea as well. And then we have this is the original book that I published, the staff preview. It's basically just there to give you a discount, and it's got unique artwork and some of the initial ideas of how the mechanics work. It's kind of cool. And then the Universal Spell Points and High Magic strips out all of the color and just provides just like a basic spell point system, like a universal spell point system that can work with any magic paradigm. But it's really intuitive, fast, and easy to use, and answers pretty much all the questions that you would have about like how do you balance spell points with high level casting. Well, what about smite, blah, 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 all that stuff. It balances it all out really nicely. So we're going through the process of updating all these books for 2024, but this is an example. Like, this is the flagship. It's $13. I drop it down to 10. Everything else is at least, if not more, half off. So you get a good chunky 30 some odd % off. And, you know, you can read all the books and you can support it or you don't. But that's what we're doing with Spelljammer. We built the core mechanics book, Spelljammer Combat Exploration, and now we get to dive further down the rabbit hole into specific details. Subclass options for your characters using these mechanics. And then last night we were building out the Spelljammer's Monsters and Machines so that you have mega kaiju, and taking ships, instead of them being animal shapes, they're people shapes, so you can pick up a 40-foot sword and club something with it. This is a further iteration and diving deeper into what the Spelljammer mechanics can provide for you. So that's all that. So let's, I think I am, let's see, for use 13 subclasses that complement and expand character options provided in Spelljammer Combat and Exploration. Artificer, Siege, Engineer. We're supposed to have like little catchphrases. We're supposed to have catchphrases for these classes. Let's go find that. D&D Beyond. I just got to grab just a random class. It's like they had like little snarpy little descriptors class. What's up? Hey, Steve. Oh my God, yeah. I've played a fuck ton of Dark Sun. Tons of Dark Sun. Mostly in 2nd edition, but some in 3rd and 5th. Dark Sun 3e was my favorite. Using the vestiges, the binder spell class, we converted all of the Templars to binders, so that they would channel and merge with the vestige that they would bind. That vestige's identity was a sorcerer king for the city-state. So like Uruk, for example, with its 3,000 Templars, each one of those Templars would channel and bind to, who was it? It was, damn it, what was the name of the Uruk Lion King? I can't remember his name offhand right now, but anyway, the more binders that would bind that vestige, the higher level the head Templar would become. And if you had enough Templars channeling that binder at the same time, then you could like get like the 5th tier, like the 20th level version of God, it's on the tip of my freaking tongue. This is absolutely killing me. Sorry. Dragon King of Uruk. Uruk's the province city among the 7 cities currently. City of the Lions. Currently Templars, a priest, sorcerer king. Hamanu. Right. Hamanu is the best. So yeah, if you had like 3,000 Templars all channeling Hamanu at the same time, then the High Cleric or the High Templar of Hamanu would actually become Hamanu for that day. So, and as you got lower levels, you had less Hamanu in you, but as you get to that high level, like 17th level, 20th, 30th level, once you get inside that top zone, you're not even you anymore. You're just Hamanu, and you're just living that creature. So the threat of attacking cities was that this living god would basically rise from the city and destroy your army, unless there was, because for you to be able to have that god can only be present within a certain miles radius of where your Templars are at. So if like Hamanu wanted to go invade Golg, you'd have to literally take all of your Templars with you to be able to maintain that power. And if you kill off the Templars, then basically Hamanu disappears from Athos altogether. And then in the wilds, there's all these other just vestiges that didn't have followers, that tried to convince people to join, to bind to them, So you'd have all these crazy little cults that were running around. So half the time the team was just fighting all these crazy cults of a vestige that would someday maybe become a Dragon King, but no one knows who it is right now. And so they would mess around with that stuff a lot. It was super cool. And then you could bend vestiges into the elemental gods. So the clerics kind of like pseudo Warlock Templars. Really freaking fun stuff. So yeah, thanks for the walk down memory lane. Yeah, it was super cool. I mean, you can't play that because your goal as a high level Templar is to erase your character and become an NPC god. So like I guess you could go through that path, but it'd be like you have to stop after 10th level because you lose your own sentience. So it's an NPC class, but it also allows you to hate them indiscriminately because they aren't human anymore. You know, the undead army, as it were. So, but God, yeah, Dark Sun's so fucking cool. Just insanely cool. The last campaign we ran, the team was doing caravan guard duty for a cartographer that was trying to map the Silt Sea, Sea of Silt. And so they had a 50-foot hermit crab that could crawl its way and sift through the Silt Sea, and you'd still have like 10, 15 feet sticking up, and occasionally they'd find a chasm that they'd have to find a way around that the hermit crab wouldn't crawl through. But it was cool. So they would basically scuttle from island to island. They were actually following wyverns, the wyvern mating, the migration patterns of a flock of wyverns that were on the islands dotted across the Silt Sea. That was this guy's goal, and they're like, okay, well, great. And then there's probably a bunch of buried cool shit on these islands, so as long as we get to keep anything we find, we'll happily tag along, make sure you and your hermit crab don't get killed. And so that became a mobile base campaign. We ran that in 3rd edition for like maybe 10 months. It was a decent little campaign burst that we did. It was cool. And then we switched to Numenera, and we ran Eberron instead. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Let me get back to work. I'm trying to stay focused while reminiscing with you like that. Channels rage into violent fury. Barbarians who walk the path direct their rage primarily towards violence. Their path is one of untrammeled fury. That's such a great word. Untrammeled fury. And they thrill in the chaos of battle as they allow their rage to seize and empower them. I think I want to have... how did that go? Hold on. Let's read that again. Channel rage and violent fury. So we have to come up with taglines like that for all of our subclasses now. So that's our current quest. Artificer, siege engine, and then a 2-line flavor text description of it, I guess. You can infuse mounted and siege weapons with infuse siege weapons with eldritch power and yeah, I mean that's kind of the skinny of it. Fortified weapons, fabricate ballista, barbarian, barbar, artificer, infuse siege weapons. Yeah, that's a decent little tagline. Let's just create taglines for each of them, and then we'll figure it out from there. So I think it's so trite. There's like nothing here. Hey, here's a bunch of subclasses you can use with the Spelljammer book. Cheers. Artificer. Let's go. Like there's not a lot of language going on here. So I might need to readdress. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like there's much things that need to get let in from there. But I'm going to drop these all into separate pages. Path of the Raging Pilot. I'm going to actually peel this out and drop down to another group. Channel Rage into Violent Fury. What about, do all they channel rage? What about you, buddy? Wild Heart, walk in community with the animal worlds. Channel your rage through... Wait for it. Hold on. Ironclad. While raging as a pilot, you and your ship gain resistance to non-magical BPS damage. Resilient pilot. If you fail a saving throw as a pilot while you're raging, you can re-roll it, and you must use the new roll. You can use this ability only once per rage. When you take the attack action as a pilot while you're raging, you can make an additional ship melee attack. And when you make a saving throw as a pilot to remain focused or to avoid inertia shock while raging, you roll with advantage. When making a saving throw, I can re-roll here as a saving throw here. When you make a saving throw as a pilot to remain focused, if you fail a saving throw as a pilot while raging, you can re-roll it. And when you make a saving throw as a pilot to remain focused or to avoid inertia shock, you roll with advantage. So I roll with advantage, and then I can also re-roll it. So that's like triple stacking. That's pretty fucking good. Channel your rage while piloting. God, that sounds horrible. Let's see. What's up? Barbarian. Hey, thanks a lot, Steve. I honestly never expected to get there. I kept looking at it. I was like, I'm just gonna lose people. I'll just stand still. But I guess I'm off to the races. I'm gonna start putting stock art on my Patreon, and then I'm gonna build a stock art marketplace for the YouTube. So when you look at my video, I'll have a stack of different illustrations that I've done. You can pick on them. And then if anyone wants to use them as actual stock art in their books, if they're a $1 subscriber to the Patreon, they'll have unlimited use of the artwork while they remain subscribed. So that's how you can buy the pictures if you like them. If you want to use them in your own stuff, just subscribe to the Patreon. You have access to it. So I've seen a lot of different freelancers work that way. It seems like a really simple way to do it. And since I do artwork a lot here, seeing finished pieces that I had and pricing them to sell it's fun. I like it. It's a way just to shout out the shit that I'm doing. So I'm feeling like hold on. Let's see. I think I want to change this. I want to go with while raging as a pilot, both you and your ship gain resistance to non-magical damage. Actually, this is actually worth spending a moment on. Just realized that we have reckless attack. Yeah. Okay. While raging as a pilot, both you and your ship gain resistance to non-magical PPS damage, and you can use your reckless attack feature, gaining advantage on attacks you make, gaining advantage on melee ship attacks you make while piloting, and enemies have advantage. Oh, wait. Yeah, gain advantage and have advantage against attacking your ship until the beginning of your next turn. And then we go to Frenzied. We go to, I want to go to, Brutal. Let's go with, Brutal. Ram's not right. What I want to do is, instead of giving the extra attack, instead of what I want to do is when, damn it, wrong one. When you forego while using reckless attacks, when you if you forego advantage and hit with a ship melee attack, your you can what's the word I want to use? How do I want to word that? The attack is considered to be a ram attack. The ram attacks. Each type of melee weapon that a ship has is either bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing, and so you can use each of them as a ram. And if you do, you do movement, and when you hit, you can you automatically gain a perk. You can normally make attacks with weapons, but you'd have to spend a bonus action to trigger them. Like for example, piercing melee weapons. If you ram with them, you grapple the target. You could use a piercing ram as just a normal melee attack, and sometimes you get 2 or 3 depending on what class you are. But if you use that, then you could use a bonus action to immediately grapple by, like in piercing, like pierce the ship's hull. So now you're attached to it, thus the grapple. The bludgeoning weapons, when they ram, they scuttle, which is like a trip effect, but you don't trip the ship, you trip everybody on board the ship. So if the pilot fails the saving throw when they get hit, everyone gets like thrown out of their seat unless you use a reaction to brace on impact. If you brace for impact, you don't take any damage and you don't fall prone. But if your ship gets scuttled, you'll take typically somewhere between 1 to 5d6 damage, depending on how big the ship is that's getting knocked around. Bigger ships, you fall a lot more. Go figure. So, but you also have to be a bigger ship to scuttle bigger ships. So biggest ships attack bigger ships. Bigger ships attack smaller ships. Smaller ships attack fighter craft. Fighter craft attack people. So you can bully things that are smaller than you a lot easier. So if you hit something and they fail their saving throw, they get scuttled. And so if the pilot failed the scuttle check, they fall out of their seat. They lose power on the helm for a second until they use their action to get back up. But while they're out of their seat, if they don't have a co-pilot, their ship's shields are down, and you can basically attack it without it being able to defend itself. So scuttling's really useful. So being able to scuttle as part of an attack, if you're using bludgeoning attacks with your ship, that's incredibly powerful. So I like that. I like that being in place here. So we're going to call that brutal. Brutal ram isn't appropriate. It's siege weapons. It's ships. It's modifying the brutal strikes, which is when you abandon advantage, you gain like a trip or a push or a whatever, which is kind of what we're duplicating here. While using, hold on, maybe we can make this easier. Let's go look at our brutal strikes real quick, and see what cool shit we can do. When do we get brutal strikes? At 9. Fucking perfect, because this subclass comes in at 10. So if you use reckless attack, you can forgo any advantage on one strength-based attack roll of your choice on your turn. When using reckless attack, you can forgo advantage on one ship melee attack per round. Is it per round or turn? On your turn. On your turn. The chosen attack must not have disadvantage. Brutal piloting. You must not have disadvantage on the attack. if the chosen attack hits you, if the chosen attack hits, it's considered to be a ram attack. Period. Perfect. That's exactly what I was trying to get across with this. So sometimes it takes a little while for us to find it. This is why we go through revisions. Hopefully this design process is amusing, because this is the only time I get to work on the subclass book is when I stream during weekdays, until the Eberron adventure is done. When the Eberron adventure is done, one or more of these books are going to slide forward in priority, and I'll be able to work on them off stream. But the Eberron book that we do artwork, generally what happens is we work on a book, and when we get the artwork done, we publish it. And then whatever other books I was working on in the meantime, then move forward, and I move towards publishing the next one. So I do like the book cover. Like when I send a book off to edits, that's generally a trigger for me to start working on the book cover and page layouts and stuff like that. So like page design. What did I just do? Calm yourself, Kearney. Yeah, I like that. Brutal piloting. That's cool. Okay, great. That works out. Resilient pilot. The saving. I love the saving throw. I've got a smudge on my screen. Thank you. Ironclad. That's fantastic. Okay, that's good stuff. So let's see. Channel your rage through ship. Channel your rage while piloting during ship combat. God, that's fucking horrible. Channel your rage during ship combat. Channel your rage through your while piloting. So bad. Channel your rage into ship weapon attacks. Yeah, fine. Better than nothing, I guess. And then flavor text. So that's barbarian. Cool. Bard. College of Command. Is I double lining this on purpose? Yeah. And yes. And cool. College of Command. What do you do? Exceptional leadership. When you make a command check, you can use your inspiration die instead of your command die, which is always going to be better. Inspiring commander. When you make a command check, you can spend an inspiration die and add the number rolled to the result. In addition, the reload score of the siege weapon is compared to the result of both the command die and the inspiration die. If either result is equal to or greater than the reload score, the crew successfully reloads the weapons and is ready to fire with the next command. When you make a command check, you can choose to replace the result of your command die with your proficiency bonus number. God damn, that's so fucking good. That is so good. So, for those that don't know, here, I'll tell you what. Let's. I don't think I'm going to modify the book today. I'm going to leave it up just in case I do. But just to actually visit these mechanics real quick so you know why I think that's so fucking good. Let's go down to here, and let's go to ranged ship weapons. So ranged ship melee weapons. List of ranged siege weapons. A ballista, it has a reload score. Mangonel, it has a reload score. Trebuchet, reload score. Gift cannon. The ships that require a crew to load, aim, and fire can be commanded with a single attack action. If your fighter has 2 attacks this turn, then you could issue 2 attacks, 1 for each attack, to the weapons crew to load, aim, and fire the weapon. If they coordinate their actions well, they can attack twice as ordered. But if they don't coordinate well, then they need extra help with their action economy getting the weapon loaded. So when you make an attack, you're using a proficiency die instead of a static bonus. It's D4, like you get a +2 proficiency bonus, you get a D4 die roll instead. And so if the results of your die roll is equal to or higher than the reload score for the weapon automatically reloads as part of the activity the ship crew takes to load, aim, and fire, and now we just reload it because we're in the groove. What's the next issue? Order to fire. So if you fail the roll, then you have to spend an action, bonus action, or reaction to order the team specifically to use that single action of reloading the weapon. And now it's loaded and you can fire it again with another command. So if you can keep rolling high on your command die, then you can consistently reload. And the score gets higher with larger size weapons that require more crew to operate. And you can combine multiple weapons to attack together at the same time. So there's a weapon crew, and the crew's rank is going to be anywhere from 1 to 5. And so the higher rank crew that you have, they're basically different skill levels of proficiency. So the higher rank your crew of skill your crew has, whatever the rank is, you subtract it from the reload score of the weapon that you're firing. So in the case of a mangonel or of a ballista, it has a reload score of 3. So if it has a first rank crew operating that ballista, that's 3 minus 1. The reload score for ballista is going to be 2 or better, and it can't get less than 1 because you can always succeed on a die roll of 1. It doesn't ever need to get lower than that. So like a human fighter with a sword, your melee attack would have a reload score of 1. An archer firing across a long bow would have a reload score of 1. If you were using the system more universally, somebody that was loading and firing a crossbow, its reload score might be 2. So normally you're going to be able to reload it, but occasionally maybe you can't. Something like that. So as a result, you can combine multiple weapons to fire at the same time by adding up and totaling the total number, the reload score for each weapon. So like each of these ballistas with a first rank crew is only going to have a reload score of 2. Very easy. If you have 2 of the weapons fire at the same time, its reload score becomes 4. If you have all 3 siege weapons fire at the same time, its reload score becomes 6. So if you fire all 3 siege weapons and you can't roll a 6 on your reload die, then each one of these ballistas needs a separate action to reload them. So if you have teams of players working together, they can coordinate their actions, bonus actions, and reactions to make sure all these weapons are firing smoothly each round with uninterrupted by eating up your action economy with attacks and reload commands. Meanwhile, your pilot can have a co-pilot that can add extra actions to like dash so your ship can move more than normal and maneuver more while leaving, like if you have a pilot and a co-pilot, like a fighter and a rogue as a team, it's really fucking good because the fighter can use all of its actions to attack because melee weapons don't have reload scores. You just get to attack like normal, just at a really big scale. But you also have to be within melee range to use them while these ships can attack each other, up to a mile or so away. So you have to get in close to use melee weapons. So that's really fun. But if you had a pilot, if you had a rogue pilot with a fighter combat co-pilot, or if the rogue was the co-pilot and the fighter was the pilot, either way, the fighter can be using up all of its action economy to make melee attacks, while the rogue could be using its action economy and its bonus action, like its cunning maneuvers and stuff like that, to be able to have the ship maneuver a lot, to have reactions, to save itself, to be able to dodge attacks. It's a really great, it's a great Han and Chewie sort of co-pilot team, and so you can team up your characters to work these different functions or different roles on your ship, and then everyone could switch next round. So it's just what actions you take determines what your role is. So that's the theme behind a lot of these subclasses. In this case, the Bard is really leaning into commanding siege crews, like the College of Command. All of the stuff that you get it's about improving your command die. You always replace your command die, which like that third level would be a D4, but your inspiration die is a D6. So you're rolling a D6 instead of a D4 to determine whether you can reload or not. And in Inspiring Commander, When you make a command check, you can spend an inspiration die and add that number to like how you normally use an inspiration die. But if the inspiration die or your command die, if either one of those hits your reload number, then you're fine. And then reliable commander is when you make a command check, you can choose, instead of rolling a die, you can just use whatever your proficiency bonus is. So at 14th level, your proficiency bonus is +5. So if a weapon has a reload score of 5 or less, you are always going to reload that weapon. So this bard is a really effective siege weapon commander. And if you're having a combat game with Spelljammer, then you're going to be in your ships fighting other ships or giant creatures all the time. And all of this stuff applies if you have siege weapons, great, but like the barbarian and the artificer, those siege weapons that we're messing around with would qualify for the mecha that we were building last night, because these mecha are ships. They're just people-shaped ships. So you can pick up weapons and armor and run around with them like that. But you can still use all these Spelljammer subclass mechanics with those mecha. So this is going to do double duty, helping out that mecha book when it comes out as well. So anyway, I'm pretty excited about that. So we have our artificer and fuse siege weapons with Eldritch power. Channel your rage into ship weapon attacks. Bard of College of Command. Let's see. Inspire your crew in battle. That's a horrible title. That's a horrible summary, but I mean, I guess it's accurate. Journey domain. Let's look at how. Hold on. I'm having his use. Why? Yeah. Okay. Wait. There we go. Let's look at clerics real quick to see what they look like. That was fun, by the way. Updating the barbarian, that was super fun. No, come back. No. Oh my gourd. Get out of here. Clerk. Make mischief and challenge authority. Bring light to banish darkness. Soothes the hurts of the world. Safely traverse the vastness. Safely traverse the astral sea. Jesus, that's horrible. Soothe the hurts of the world. Let's see, we have Divine Navigator, which is proficiency in investigation and perception. In addition, when traveling the astral sea, when you roll to determine how long it takes to arrive at your destination, you can roll twice using the shorter duration. And if you're running a multi-system campaign, this is going to come up and be really important. So that is a really, really useful class feature. Guided shot. When you command a siege crew to attack, you can use a bonus action to expend a use the channel divinity and give your command die a roll of +10 bonus. And if the target is at long range, you don't roll with disadvantage. There. Divine Familiarity, starting at 6th level. While traveling the astral sea, again, you have a more clear image of your destination than you would normally. You're considered to have 1 degree more familiar with your destination than you otherwise would, as listed in Divine Familiarity tables. In addition, you are considered to be very familiar with your god's home plane when you choose it as your destination. You always have the plane shift spell prepared, and when you cast it without spinning, and you can cast it without spinning a spell slot once per day. When you do, you can amplify the spell to any creatures or ships within 500-foot space you occupy. So you can teleport basically a whole fleet, or like a whole squadron, a fleet of fighter craft or a squadron of ships, vessels. Guided shot. Divine Familiarity. Traverse. The Astral Sea, guided by your God. Too wordy? Bring light to banish the darkness. Make mischief and challenge authority. Inspire valor and smite foes. Maybe I'm making too much of this. Provide safe passage through the astral sea. How about that? Good enough. If not, fuck off. Moving along. Yeah, I'm a charmer. How do we word druid stuff? That's the next thing to look at. I'm just gonna go down the line and just try to gank format if we can, right? Great art steel. So let's get after it. Celebrate connection to the natural world. There was a connection to the animal world up in the barbarian. I'm concerned about their vocabulary being limited. Celebrate connection to the natural world. What do? You adopt animal forms to guard the wilds. Neat. What do? You become one with the tides and storms. Harness secrets hidden in constellations. Breathe life into the ship you pilot. Wild shape, ship melding, more combat melding, natural melding, ship melding, combat melding, natural melding, plane strider. While piloting and focusing on an orrery station aboard a ship, when you enter the astral sea from the system, you can use the magic action to plane shift the ship and everything occupying its space to your destination. Arriving at a location within range. Within range of detecting it, you regain this feature when you finish a long rest. Okay, I don't see a difference between that and planar caravan. So I need to find a different feature. Shit. All right. Oceanic gift. Instead of manifesting your circle, let's go over here, 14th level. Lunar form. That's a shift. You can spin to use your wild shape and cause spectral trees. Yeah, this is another wild shift feature. It's all wild shift features. What do you get to do with your wild shape feature at this level? Within you, granting you the following benefits: evergreen, wild shape. We have no uses. Let's go with natural melding. Let's go with amplified melding. While focusing or piloting on an orrery station aboard a ship. Let's look real quick. Sending or of life, fabricate, hallow, mask your wounds. Give me a second. Contemplating. I could do something with reducing amplification costs, but the sorcerer already does that. We have repair coming from the wizard already, so I don't necessarily just want to duplicate a healing effect. We've already got the plane shift with planar caravan from the cleric. The wild shape that we can do, I guess let's just go through the wild shaping again. Wild phase, you meld this way, you remain in contact with the helm, reduce your speed to 0, and you cannot lose force. You remain in contact with the helm, you can't get knocked out of your chair. There you go. Combat melding as a bonus action while when activating or while using your wild shape feature to meld with a ship. You can grow ship melee weapons, either a ram, grappling claw, or grappling tentacles. DPS. In addition, you can reshape the ship while melded to traverse solid or liquid surfaces. Hold on. In addition, to feature to meld the ship, you can amplify healing spells to repair the ship as a magic action. In addition, when you make an inertia shock check while you're melding with a ship, you can roll your command die, adding the number to the result of the Constitution saving throw. I'm good with that. Natural melding while using your wild shape feature to meld with a ship. You can amplify. While using your wild shape features to meld with a ship. Spells that heal hit points can also repair the ship. There we go. That's a nice way to bend use of this. Because while you're infusing it, it becomes alive. While piloting or focus, so Breath of Life. While piloting or focusing, while piloting or focusing on an orrery station. Am I okay with that? No, it's got to be while piloting. No, because you could co-pilot. You could have both a druid. You could have both a druid and a barbarian on the helm at the same time, co-piloting. It's fine. If you wanted to, you could build a ship where you have a central helm and you have enough chairs mounted around it so that everyone can sit in the seat and command the ship as a whole group in like a drift sort of mass mind effect. So that is allowed. So it doesn't matter how many people are piloting. While this one is piloting. While piloting, let's see, how do I want to word this? While piloting a ship, when you use your ship melding, when you expend a use of wild shape to when you expend a use of wild shape to meld with your ship, when you expend a use of wild shape to meld with your ship, the air envelope is refreshed with the air in your The air envelope surrounding your ship is becomes fresh. Cannot become foul or deadly. And as a magic action, you can expend a fourth level, level 4 spell slot to refresh the air let me see, freshen the air for 100 days, period. Very cheap, very effective. There's nothing in this game that allows you, that directly says, this is how you refresh your air. The only way you can refresh your air with this game is by entering an atmosphere with air that you can breathe and scoop it up. So the Breath of Life is right now the only class feature or spell type effect that exists in the game that allows you to extend your lifespan in space indefinitely that way. The Ranger doesn't have to breathe, but everyone else on the ship could die. This just automatically refreshes the air and prevents it from becoming deadly or poison. So, minor note, probably not important in drafting, but Wild Shape is it? Thank you. Maybe that's, is it? Wild Shape. Oh, it's both capitalized. I would have, or a good editor would have caught that. So bless you, but thank you. Well, I may as well fix it. Yeah, technically these things aren't important right now, but if I don't get it right, that would be, it'd be dumb of me not to get it right. So I may as well fix it now, so I don't have to worry about not getting it right. Oh, look, it knows the way to go. It knows the way now. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. So what's my blurb? Breathe life into the ship you pilot. I mean, that's actually a really great of Breath of Life. That's fucking fantastic. That actually ended up being really good. I'm very, very, very happy with that. Fighter pilot. Let's see what the Battle Master, its description is, because I bet we can just lift that language and gank it in real quick. Figter. Oh, how are we doing on time? Just about to hit an hour. You are a fighter. Master sophisticated battle maneuvers. They're kind of lowbrow saying this is why not everyone can do maneuvers, because they're sophisticated. You see that? It's very subtle marketing there. Master sophisticated battle maneuvers. What about the champion? Live the easy life? Pursue physical excellence in combat. Excellence is defined as the pursuit and endeavor of excellence. Of being excellent, sorry. You have learned to cast spells. Nice, but that's support combat skills with arcane magic. That makes sense. And Sky Warrior. Spy Warrior. Augment physical might with psionic power. Augment ship combat with tactical maneuvering. With tactical maneuvers. There we go. And then continue with the flavor text from there. Weapon masteries for siege weapons. You gotta fucking love it. Because again, everything works just perfectly fine at the 50 and 500 foot scale, just like it does for the 5 foot scale, which means that weapons can have masteries, which also means that if you mega size your weapons using the mecha handbook, if you've got a 30 foot sword, if it's a long sword, it still can vex. You know, if you have a 40 foot war mallet, and you bloop a dragon with it, you're still going to be able to punt it back 2 squares. And if the squares that you're using are 20 feet, then if you're going to push the dragon back to 2 squares, because it's better to use squares than feet when you're working with variable scales. So like 5 feet, 50 foot, 500 feet. Instead of getting complicated about mincing around like exactly what scale is this square, it's still fucking square. So push the target 2 squares. And if you're at the 20 foot scale because you're using gargantuan mecha, that means you just bloop that dragon 40 feet because 2 squares, 20 feet apiece. There you go. So we have to spend time in this supplement talking about scale of squares, which we do have notes about in here, but we need to really spell it out for this particular document. So I like that, but I like that title. And I like how the classes sit. So, geez, that was an hour. I think that's honestly, that's all the time I can really afford to spend on this right now. I will not be here Monday lunch next week. Instead, I'll be here Wednesday lunch instead. My week got scuttled a little bit, so I had to shift. And so I'll be at lunchtime on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday next week. I'll be doing Eberron art Monday through Friday in the morning. I'll be on Thursday night like usual. I'll be here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Seattle time, which is noon East Coast time. And we'll be doing playtesting on my Discord channel on Monday night. So tomorrow morning, we're going to continue working on Bastions. And if I get tired of working on Bastions, then we'll come back and we'll work on this some more. This is by far the closest document to being ready to go to production again, but I'm kind of wanting to hold off on that. I don't know. I'm thinking about holding off on it until I can get the revisions for the Spelljammer book done, but I can't really do a deep dive into swapping around Spelljammer mechanics because I'm going to want to work on it off screen. I can't do that until the Eberron book is done. So, hey, what's up? Typically Druids 3 and 14 should provide more significant bonuses in levels 10 and 6. Breath of Life feels more like a 10th level feature than a capstone. It's ribbony, it has relevance, but they aren't likely to use it often, so might as well give it to them when they have the... Oh. You know what? That's a really good point. I am very open to that. Thanks, Omni. Clicking in with the smart moves yet again, my dude. Let's go take a look at that. All right. Well, I got to bounce for the day, guys. I'm going to remind me to explore that. I got to bounce out of here. So I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.